Hi, and welcome to this week's video. In this video I'm going to make up some little spacers. It might sound like not a lot, but quite a chunk of work has to go into it. So I'll show you how I did it. Come on now. So here's a start for the spacer washers. I've got my material, bit of scrap, the right thickness. Run a drill. This is screwed in onto this piece of wood to hold it in place. Run a drill so that's centered, and then what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a hole cutter, tank cutter, but without the pilot, to cut the outer circle, and then I can drill this to whatever size I want, which will be 7mm to allow for the fact that we've got the 6-degree cant in the bolt. And that's I have 7mm. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference. It's only a packer. And then I'll repeat the same at this end here, and I'll have effectively two really thick washers. So there's one packer, and that'll fit just nicely in there. So all I've got to do is give that a coat of paint, and that'll be ready for use as and when the time arises. So I'm just going to make another one of those, and we'll be done. I've got that lot painted and reassembled now. So this has been reduced in height quite significantly. Nearly 10mm in height, all been repainted, all torqued up and torque sealed. So it's come out a very slightly different shade of green, but hey ho, I'm not quite sure why. Aerosol can still shaken, rattled and rolled, but there we go. That's that. So now we're getting ready to play with trying to make up tapered, not tapered so much as chamfered spacers to go front and rear on the place. Need 8 of those, so we'll get busy on the lathe shortly. Right, for the tapered packers, I need to have something to start off with, so I'm making up these little blanks. I'm making out of this material here, which is T80, sorry, 6082 T6. I'm cutting it into these little well, plugs, I suppose is probably the best description to start off with. I've got 8 of these things to make up. So my initial start, I'll try to show you with this very Heath Robinson setup I've got going. I'm using this drill here. I'm just going to put a centre mark in because I've got to drill the hole in those later at the angle I want, so I don't want it going straight through. So I'm just going to put a mark on there. Then I'm going to change the thing to a straight cutter, but one of these cutters, but without a guide in it. And to get that to work, I've got to continually lift it and cool it with, I'm using good old-fashioned WD-40 as a lubricant. It seems to work extremely well for this particular process. So what I'll do now is I'll show you a time lapse of this going on, so you can see the process. There you go, one produced, so we've got 3 so far, another 5 to go. Okay, let's see if I can give a few tips on making these things, just in case any of you ever want to do it, making up spacer washers or whatever. out of thick material. And if you haven't got a lathe, then this is probably the most likely way that you go around doing it. First off, you want a decent hole cutter. It's no good having one that's designed for drywall like that. The teeth haven't got the right sort of cut on them. They get clogged up really easily. And second of all, you need to run your pillar drill or drill press, depending on which side of the pond you are, at a fairly low speed. You want to run it to speed, yeah, well, I ran mine at the lowest speed it will go, because the speed which the teeth are going around on this are determined by that. I wouldn't really go, I have cut holes, yeah, sort of just over an inch in diameter, but I wouldn't go much more than that on a standard drill press. Next, you keep the whole lot cool with WD-40. That's what I use as a lubricant stroke coolant. When you lift the cutter out, if you turn it off and touch the edge, you should be able to touch the edge. It shouldn't be getting hot. When you squirt the WD-40 on, you shouldn't be getting smoke coming off it or vapors coming off it. It should be kept cool. And really and truthfully, one of the things which I sort of found out as I went through this, if you make it so the cutter just cuts into the next hole, like these two here, it cuts an awful lot faster, because it's got a better chance of getting rid of the shavings through the side. But the trouble with that is you end up using more WD-40 because it floods across into here, into this side, and then runs away onto the cutting board. But anyhow, yeah, it does cut a lot faster. If you don't use enough WD-40 or whatever you use for a lubricant stroke coolant, and these get hot, what it does, it softens up the aluminium just enough so that it'll actually sort of, it turns, well, plasticizes, turns a bit like sort of plasticine, and it gets stuck in the teeth of your saw edge there, and it just doesn't cut. It just generates even more heat, and you're on a losing streak. So if you're not getting swarf coming out as you're going through it all, stop, check your teeth are clear, and proceed again. So there you go. They're the tips I've got for doing it. Those of you who are sharp-eyed, you'll see it, I've made 10. That's so I've got a spare when it comes to doing the next stage. Well, the next stage is just in case I mess up. Always an opportunity to mess up. And if you're making just straightforward spacers, of course, you could drill through those on the pillar drill, whatever size hole you want. And if you're lucky, the pilot on here is a suitable size for you. In my case, it's not. I've got this wedge here. I'm putting this on top of the wedge. We're drilling through it 5.5 millimeters, so that I can then tap it quarter UNF and stick it onto my tool. I'll show you what that looks like. Right then, let's see. Okay, so here's my my packer. It's threaded. I just need to put it onto the tool here, which has got the angle on it. I get the bolt started on there. If I get that just lined up right like that, I can tighten that down with a spanner. There's a step on the bolt which is the which I'll turn this face down to get the thickness of the tapered washer. But before I do that, first off I'll taper to this diameter the outside face very carefully, taking a small amount off at a time. Then I'll face this off this way to get that depth, and I'll end up with one of these tapered washers. 1.6 millimeters thick, or 1/16 of an inch there, with its correct angle for the sweep of the wing. And I really don't understand quite how Fisher were anticipating it. They were going to bend the tang on the spar by just cranking it tight. No spacer on the front either, indicated on the drawing, so you could really crank all sorts of things, put flex into the mounting plates and stuff like that, and putting a lot of stress on things. I don't like it, so hence I'm making these up. I'll put the spacer in there so everything is clamped flat in the orientation that they're meant to be. This has got a 90-degree face on angle here, so this face will go against the tang and this face goes against the plate. Nice and easy. So there we are with it. Here we are with it all in. I don't know if you can see a slight line just running down there, stain line where the spacer is. It goes right the way around to about here, so we'll see it. But there we are. That's been turned down to the same diameter as this, and been faced off here. So we're ready to go. I'll take this out, unscrew it from there, and we'll drill through on the pillar drill 6.5. Well, there's the next one done. Just 6 more to go. You can sort of see they're coming out pretty consistently. Matching it up with that one. So I think I've got a system that works, and I'll crack on and create the others. I had one failure, which was the very first one I created, which was this one. I just made it a section too thick. Unfortunately, when you take it off and try and put it back on the tool and things like that, just didn't quite work. Didn't want to play. So I've just tried out all the procedures on that one. So that's the waste one. I made the extra one for it. There we go. There's all the little tapered spacers all made up, ready to go. So I'll put those to one side. These are all iodine solution treat. I've got some of that. I'll just solution treat. It won't look any different to that. And then I won't bother painting them, because the paint will just get scraped off and bits and pieces will get pushed into position. So I'll put them in with a bit of jointing compound, and that'll be it. Hey ho. Well, that's it for this video. I have managed to get my interplane strut tubes bent, all but 2 of them at the moment, so see how I get on, and see what the weather does, to see when I get the next opportunity to be able to rig the aircraft to be able to set up the interplane struts, and to get the other upper main plane fitted, and the holes drilled for that. Until then, keep fitting well, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. You can subscribe, or even hit the little bell notification for future videos. Any comments would be appreciated, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Remember, go fly and feel the sky.